The following update is read to you directly from my Patreon page. It has been modified slightly to better suit the format of a YouTube video. Okay, everyone. It brings me no pleasure whatsoever to make this announcement, but I feel that for the long term, this is the right call to make. As you have no doubt pieced together from the title of this video, my reading of Change, Queen of the Hive, is being put on hiatus for the foreseeable future. This is not an easy choice for me to make, as doing readings in this story and the series it's a part of has been something I have openly and eagerly tackled for well over a year now, coming up on 2. It's a big part of why I was able to get back into fan fiction readings in the first place. Change was the first big one I really sunk my teeth back into after a very long hiatus across the board. But the length of the project is a big part of the problem. As things stand, to cut to the chase, it's getting to be too much. Change was a long story, and Change Queen of the Hive is a long story, and the transition from one to the other was relatively seamless, all things considered, and as a result, it feels to me like I've been working on just one really, really long story. Long, epic, full of good memories. Hell, the author, Tom117Z, he's become one of my better friends since then, as I'm sure you can tell from Jibber Jabber. But the story is long. It's a long project, and I haven't done enough to break it up a little bit. And as a result, it's gotten more tedious than fun to work on. Looking back, I have seen a very clear and very noticeable decline in the quality of the general narration. Not character voices, I still give my all for those, but the general narration in the story itself has suffered a severe decline. Far more monotone, far more disinterested. At first I thought this was just me trying to give an ominous and foreboding tone, and I don't really know if that necessarily works. But at the same time, it's not as interesting, and I've been giving monotone voices in places where it didn't necessarily belong. So, this, from my point of view, this has resulted in a far less engaging and a far less entertaining reading, and you guys deserve better than that. So, to help really put this decision in perspective, to help illustrate why I'm doing this, I want those of you who were around at the time to all look back on and remember my reading of Forgiveness Pending from years ago. Yes, I know. I am talking about that in a public announcement capacity. Just to get this out of the way before the comment section blows up, no, I'm not continuing that reading. I'll explain why in a little bit. But as you will all recall, I stopped that reading after working on it for a long time because it was becoming too much. The chapters were long, and the storyline itself, there were a lot of problems that I personally had with it. It's still a great story, but there were a lot of ways the story was handled that I personally disagreed with or could not get behind. And all of those things coming together, along with how much editing there was involved, and the like, it became a chore. It was a hassle. It became more tedious than fun to work on, and it was not at all helped by the fact that I was struggling with crippling depression at the time. Now, while depression is not a factor with this story, I still do not want to push myself to a point that I hate working on it. I don't want to drive this gradual increase of dissatisfaction with it, this growing boredom with it, this fact that it's growing to be more of a chore. I don't want to push that. I want to take a step back, so I am. I'm going to put the reading on hold for the foreseeable future to let my batteries for it recharge for a while. Now, how long will this hiatus last? I have absolutely no idea. I'll fill in the Monday and Tuesday reading slot with another story for the time being, and we'll see how I'm feeling after that. Now, this does not mean that the Change Queen of the Hive reading is canceled. Far from it. It just means I need to step back from it for a while, put it to the side, let my brain recharge from it. I do plan to come back to it at some point and finish it off right. I am very involved and very invested in this story, It's what let me kickstart my readings again. It what really let me get back into this and fully discover that, yes, voice acting is what I want to do with my life. I owe a lot to this story, this series. So I am very sorry about having to put it to the side. But I know I have to do it if I want to make sure I can actually give you guys the quality that I want to make sure I hold myself to the standard of. Like I've mentioned before, I have a standard of quality that I try to maintain, that I try to constantly push to new levels, but if I am not enjoying what I am working on, then I will not, by very virtue of how it works, be able to reach that standard of quality. I will not be able to push myself to that. It is a character flaw with me that I am well aware of, and I try to fight it as best as I can, but it's something that in the end I have to take into consideration. I work best when I'm having fun. So I'm going to set the story aside and let myself recharge so I can tackle it and have fun with it again when I do come back. Again, I'm sorry. So I'll be keeping my eyes peeled for a story to fill in the Monday and Tuesday slot with. Hopefully I'll find one before next week rolls around. For any of you who are only watching my stuff on YouTube instead of through the Patreon early releases, then the remaining chapter of Change Queen of the Hive that I've recorded already will still go through its typical release cycle. The last one will go up this coming Monday, and then the reading will go dark until I am ready to pick it back up. And again, and I know I've said this a lot, but I just want to make sure it's clear. I am very sorry about this. I just want to make sure that you're all getting the best reading I can give you, and I cannot do that when I am drained of my enthusiasm and energy and love for a project. You guys don't deserve a half-assed reading. And I certainly don't want to give you a half-assed reading. If I give you a reading, I want to give it my all. So, keep an eye on my Patreon page. That's where news will probably drop first, but I'll also post a YouTube video announcing it when I figure out what's what and when I'm coming back to this. I'll keep you posted, everyone. And as always, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time. And as always, keep listening, people. Bye-bye.